This is the plaintiff, Raymond Lawrence Caramelli. He says he and the defendant were roommates, and when he moved in, things were good. A short time later, however, the defendant started changing the rules on him about smoking in the apartment. At first, it was forbidden, but the guy smoked with his internet girlfriends, and the place stunk to high heaven. Not only that, the defendant stole his toilet paper and his coffee filters, and he moved out. Now the guy owes him the $966.61 he gave him for prepaid rent and security, and he's suing him for just that today. This is the defendant, Ronnie Dean. He says the plaintiff turned out to be a real drinker and would come home every night drunk out of his mind. He told him he wasn't going to put up with that kind of behavior, and that's when the guy decided to move out. The plaintiff broke the lease. He walked out on his own free will, and he owes the guy zip. He's accused of being a rotten roommate. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $660 for 1 month's rent.
All right, all parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says his roommate started changing the rules in their apartment.
All right.
He started smoking with his internet girlfriends and doing other stuff with toilet paper. The defendant says the plaintiff was a raving drunk. It's the case of your internet girlfriend is smoking.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Mr. Caramelli, you are suing Mr. Dean, your former landlord, for $966.61 for rent that you prepaid, security deposit he hasn't returned, plus moving expenses that you say you had to incur as a result of him breaking the lease. Tell me, and you have a counterclaim against him for $660 for the remaining month of October, which according to you, he needed to pay. Tell me what's going on.
Well, back in July of 2013, I spent a week in Chicago exploring the possibilities of moving there from Michigan, shadowing a friend of mine to work at a company that he worked for. Decided that I liked the opportunity. Before I left town on July 19th, Saturday, July 19th, I started searching Craigslist for a roommate. Probably a mistake. Anyway, I found Mr. Dean's listing, went over and met him before I went back home on the 20th, and we decided that, it might work out. So I went back to Michigan, packed up my things, and I moved in with him on August 5th. 2013.
Did you sign anything?
Not until I got there on August 5th, 2013.
And what did you sign when you got there? Does anybody have a copy?
Yes, a 3-month lease.
Okay, may I see it?
Yep.
So you sign a 3-month lease and you are there in August?
August 5th, it was the first day I arrived.
And what was your last day?
The last day was the 31st.
Of?
August.
Oh, that didn't go well at all, did it?
Didn't go well at all.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Okay. I signed a 3-month lease on that day. I also paid him the rent for the month, which was $660, plus the $240 security deposit that he requested.
Okay.
It's in the lease. Everything was going pretty well for a couple of weeks. Actually, we were hitting it off well. I had just one job at the time, the day job that my buddy had hooked me up with. Around August 22nd, I landed a second job at night, to try to gather up some more money so eventually I could move out at the end of the 3-month period. That was a Saturday, and he had planned, Mr. Dean had planned a barbecue on the 23rd with his family. Well, I ended up having to work on the 23rd, and when I got home that night, he was upset because the morning of that day, I was reading the newspaper in the backyard, and I sat around, read the newspaper while he had to prepare the home, mow the grass, rake the grass, pick up the dog, doo-doo, which they're not my dogs either. But he was uptight about that the next day, and he actually yelled at me.
Wait, I'm sorry. He was uptight about what?
Because I didn't help do the yard work when he was having a barbecue with his family.
Okay.
So I told him that I thought that was a little ridiculous, that I signed I'm renting a room from you for $660. It shouldn't include landscaping and, picking up dog poop or anything like that.
Okay.
Perhaps if you asked me, I might have helped, but you didn't ask, so I didn't help. And he says, well, if you were a good man and a good friend, you would have just jumped up and helped me anyway.
All right, so then what happens?
So then, I had, on top of that, before the barbecue day, I had told him, I had just moved there, landed a second job. He was going in and out of town from time to time up to Wisconsin to visit, a girlfriend of his that he met from the internet. He dates girls from the internet, not a big deal. And I told him, well, if you're going out of town, I'll pay the rent early because I don't know when I'll see you again for September. So I prepaid. I like having a roof over my head because I had given him part of it already. I gave him $400 of it, and then he demanded.
You prepay September
He
on
demanded
August
the remaining
23rd, and then what goes wrong?
That's when toilet paper starts disappearing, coffee filters start disappearing. I got up one morning, there was no toilet paper in the house. When I first moved in, we had a discussion about incidentals, toilet paper, laundry soap.
And what was the discussion?
That when we run out of those common things, common items that we both use, I would replace it with the same kind, the same size container. You know, it would be my turn to buy, even though what was already in the house was partially used. So, and that had already occurred with the laundry soap and with the coffee.
I'm not understanding. Your agreement was what? Who's responsible to buy what?
Well, when I moved, the day that I moved in, we discussed that. Okay, what are we going to do about toiletries and all that kind of thing? So, you know, instead of having, he's got a 12-pack and I got a 12-pack of toilet paper in the bathroom, I got my own coffee, he's got his own coffee, my own filters, his own.
I'm sorry, what was the argument about? The coffee ran out and it was your turn to buy and you didn't?
No, all of a sudden that just disappeared.
There was plenty of coffee the day before, but once you started having problems, coffee was being
Now I get up in the morning, there's no toilet paper.
Okay.
Right. So, you know,
okay, so when do you guys, okay, I hear there are problems. Now,
Right.
when do you guys discuss a resolution of the problems?
Well, over the course of the next couple of days, we went back and forth about what he expected of me as a roommate to be mowing the lawn and helping him, you know, doing other things around the house that, you know, weren't in the lease. And eventually he got so uptight with me that he texted me while I was working at night and said, I want you to move out. I want you out by Saturday the 31st. I'm done with you. I've had enough of your You can call my attorney. Do you know who a mason is? A mason, you know, do you know what a mason is? I've got my home protected now. People are going to be watching you and, you know.
Okay, what's going on?
The problem is, Mr. Ray, he's a drunk. He come in the house every day drunk. Instead of buying incidentals, he come in the house every day with a case of beer. Okay, not only did he do me that way, but he also did the person that helped him move into my house and out of the house. I got a letter from them, and you may have a copy of it, to where he did the same thing to them.
What did he do to them?
When he moved out of my house into Chris and Lori's house, which they were friends of his, he moved into their house. After 30 days, he up and disappeared. Now, he still owes them money.
But he didn't disappear in this case.
No, not in my case.
Okay.
When he came to my house on that Saturday morning, he brought
How did it end up that he couldn't live there 3 months? According to him, you threw him out.
Oh, no, I didn't.
So would you ever get a roommate from Craigslist?
Oh my God, no. Yeah, no, it's not even logical.
Why, just too random?
Yes, and there's all kinds of people on Craigslist. You don't know what you're getting.
Would you ever get a roommate from Craigslist?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, think of the principle of getting a roommate freshman year of college. It's a random person as well. So, I mean, that's how I met this guy, honestly, a roommate on Craigslist, and I wouldn't be opposed to it.
You got a creepy smile, all I can tell you. No, I'm looking.
Sometimes.
Okay, going inside the courtoroom.
You did not throw him out.
No, because I did not throw him out. He broke his lease. He left on his own accord.
Why did he leave?
Because I asked him to start buying his incidentals. He didn't want to. He got pissed off and says, okay, I'm leaving. I'm like, okay, you're a grown man. I'm not going to stop you from leaving, but you did sign a 3-month lease. Now, it's up to you.
So you don't deny that you collected September rent?
Oh, no, I don't deny that.
You have a $240 security deposit?
I don't deny that at all.
In fact, you're suing for October rent?
Yes, because he signed a 3-month lease.
Okay, and you're telling me I never told him he had to go?
I never told him he had to go.
He left because we were fighting too much and he wanted to leave.
And he wanted to leave.
According to you, you have a text?
I do.
Let me see the text. Are you a Mason? Are you not allowed to tell me?
No.
Should have
It's
a
all
ring
big
on.
secret?
He showed me the
But
ring.
you can't tell me, but you told him
wearing the
as
ring?
a threat?
No, I did not tell you that. You haven't even seen a ring.
I'm done with this blank. You have till Saturday to move all your blank. I'm done. Did you send that text?
I did.
Oh, well, how do you figure you didn't throw him out?
I didn't throw him out. He said that he would either live out the lease or that he would move by the 30th of the month. It was his choice.
I'm sorry. I'm done with this blank. You have till Saturday to move all your blank.
I was done.
I'm done. That's not you throwing him out?
No, I didn't throw him out.
What is this then?
That's telling me that I was done with his BS. Not throwing him out. I didn't tell him to get out.
You have till Saturday to move all your
Because he said he was going to move
Four-letter
out.
word for excrement.
He said he was going to move out.
Oh, I see. So you just threw him out after he said he'd move out.
He said he was
And the
going to
next
move
message
out.
says, I'll give you my
How do you figure you
attorney's
get
number.
to keep the guy's money? I understand why you want him out. Get him out.
But
But
it's-
how do you figure you get to keep September rent, his security deposit, and on top of that have the chutzpah to sue for October?
Because he signed a 3-month lease, Your Honor.
Really?
Yes.
That you threw him out of and that you think he's going to have to pay anyway?
I didn't throw him out.
I'm done with this blank. You have till Saturday to move all your blank.
Because he said he was moving on Saturday. He said that he was moving.
So you just wanted to remind him of his promise?
Yes. Yes.
Dude,
He said
pay
he-
the guy back his money.
said-
You're crazy. 660 plus the 240. Prove your moving expense. Well, you would have had to move out anyway in October. I mean, it's not like you had to have an extra move in there you wouldn't have done. No moving expenses.
All right, yeah.
But the 660 and the 240, absolutely. $900.
Thank you.
Verdict for the plaintiff plus your court costs on your counterclaim against him for October rent? I don't think so. That's my judgment.
All right, so the defendant comes out on the losing end of this case because that text certainly sounds like somebody throwing out his tenant.
Well, he said he wanted to move out. I said, go right ahead, move out. I'm not going to hold you. You want to move out? You want to break the lease? Go right ahead.
Well, that's not what the text said. The text didn't say, well, if you want to move out, go ahead and move out. It didn't say that.
Well, I told him verbally because throughout the whole week he's been saying that he wanted to move out. He wanted to move out. We couldn't get along. That we couldn't come up to some agreement to where we can live together. If that's the case, Ray, your choice. Move out.
Well, you got to admit that the text did sound like somebody throwing somebody out. The way
Well,
it was
you can take
worded.
the text any way you want to take it, how it was worded.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that he chose to move out. He moved out.
That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying still. Yeah, he's still saying that.
And you're saying?
All I was doing was trying to get on my feet in Chicago, working 2 jobs. He's trying to get me to do more than I should as a roommate, and I disagreed with him. He didn't like it. And he got so uptight that he ended up telling me to get my what out.
How about that threat? How did you take that?
What, with the Mason threat? What else are you going to throw at me? Mason threat.
So after you moved out, did you land on your feet and everything work out pretty well?
Everything's working out just fabulous
All
now.
right. Okay, good. Harvey?
Okay, this is real simple. When a landlord orders a tenant to move out, it waives the whole 30-day notice requirement. The tenant's allowed to move just as the landlord asked. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.